Hello, Tracy here with another art journal process video. I am going to start by spreading gesso across my pages. This is my other art journal, not the one that I was using for my Goodwill Hunting page. And I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes. But for now, suffice it to say that this is a much lower quality journal with very, very thin paper. It's not mixed media paper. I think it's a sketchbook. And so it's not the greatest journal to journal in. I was making my Goodwill Hunting page, and when I sprayed the stencil with those circles, I then went over to this journal, which I had gessoed at the same time that I gessoed the other one, and I just used that stencil as a stamp. So you see those circles on it in the citron green from Heidi Swapp. You didn't see that because it all happened off screen. But then I took my ink. I took phthalocyanine green. And just, you saw me, I just dropped it there. And now I have phthalocyanine blue and Prussian blue. And I think this one is Prussian blue. I really can't tell the difference. And this one is phthalocyanine. I really can't see a huge difference between these two shades. They're very, very, very similar. So whatever. I think unless you're a really looking for lots of different options for shades of blue, you're probably just good to get one of those, not both. So you saw that I just kind of dripped it and I let it dry a little bit. And now I'm taking just a very, very wet brush and I'm just wiping it all over. And what happened when I let it dry a little bit is you got those large swatches of color that are kind of in the background of this, where the color is darker. That's where it sat and dried into the gessoed page a little bit. And then when I washed it all with the water, it kind of layered a really soft version of those colors over top of the darker version that had dried a little bit. And I really, really love how this looks. In fact, I love it so much that I'm going to do very little more with this spread. This is back to the Goodwill Hunting spread. So sorry, I was going back and forth and back and forth. So that's just explains why you'll see that other layout pop out every once in a while. This is that yellow that I was using. It's medium yellow azo. And I'm just dripping some drops of that yellow, and I'm not going to spread it or do anything. I'm just going to let it dry in big, large splots. And so I just set it aside and worked on my other project. And now here I am. And I'm ready to work on this now. The other layout is completely done, or the other page or spread or whatever you call it. And so I realized that I'm going to make this one be about a song. And one of the things that I did with my Goodwill Hunting layout or art journal page or whatever you call it, is I've decided to make that journal be all about movies, TV, and songs. And so I want this spread here to be about a song that I love. And so therefore, I'm going to want to tear it out of that other journal and put it into this journal. So, I mean, I could have started all over again and just done a page in this journal, but I felt like I already had a really good starting point, and I absolutely love this background. I think it's so soft and watery and beautiful. I just couldn't resist. So I tore it out, as you saw, and then I just trimmed it up so that it will fit inside of the other journal, and I'll just glue it in at the end. So I'm having a look at my letter stamps, and I love that brush script. I'm just putting it aside for now that I decided what font I'm going to use, but I'm going to use that brush script stamp set to spell out the word ninja, because this is about a song called Inner Ninja. And this song is all about being true to yourself and working hard to overcome adversity and doing what you want to do instead of doing what the world expects you to do. And I love that message. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Look at that color. Oh, I love that. I could not have expected that that would have turned out so pretty. That is quinacridone, quinacridone magenta. It doesn't really matter. It's the Q word. And that, I just think that that looks absolutely gorgeous. What I love about these Liquitex acrylic inks is that once you dry a layer, you can layer other colors on top. And if you spread it out with water like that, it becomes really translucent and beautiful, and you can see all the colors. You can see the drops of yellow where the magenta went over it, and you can see the blue where the magenta went over it. It turned purple. We've got some orange from where the magenta went over the yellow, and it's just, I love, love, love those colors. And so I have my typewriter here. I'm going to come back to that in just a second. So I have my typewriter here, and I just want to do some journaling strips. I'm going to put a lot of the lyrics to the song. It's a rap song, and so there are a lot of lyrics, and I'm not going to put them all on, but I'm going to put the chorus and then the little whatever that in between thing is called, like bridge or whatever. And I'm going to put one of the verses. And so that's going to be a lot of typing. So I'm not going to include it all here, but I just have to look up the lyrics first. So I'm Googling them. It's called Inner Ninja, and it's by a couple of local artists who are pretty famous in Canada. I don't know if they're probably not so famous in the rest of the world, but it's Classified is the rap artist, and David Miles is the guy who sings the harmony or like the musical part of it. And they are really awesome, but they're very different artists from one another. And I love that the lyrics is about kind of overcoming your background, or what it seems like. I don't know. It's about overcoming adversity, and then it's sort of like these two different styles of music coming together in this song. And so that kind of goes back to, and that's just a piece of paper from my scrap drawer, by the way, with the feathers on it. I think it's a Scraptastic exclusive paper. So when I was trying to decide what color to put on my background, I decided to use that magenta in the hopes that it would give me some purple when it was layered with the greens and the blues, because I think that purple is a really unexpected color to put in the middle of this as kind of like the large splotch of the large accent color. And so it kind of fits with the theme of the message of this layout, which is about, well, I guess the way that I'm taking it is the idea of, taking on the world and doing the impossible and being true to yourself, even if it might seem like you're taking on the impossible. You can do it. And so, who can't use a message like that? That's a pretty inspiring kind of a message. And the song is very empowering. It's about, finding your inner ninja and powering through. I just want to say some of the lyrics here because they're really awesome. I like, it says, when my back's on the wall, I don't freeze up. Nah, I find my inner strength and I re-up. And then it also says, I had bad habits, but I dropped them. I had opponents, but I knocked them out. I climbed the highest mountains and swam the coldest seas. There ain't a thing I faced that's been too much for me. I love, love, love the message of this song. And it's also just like a fun, catchy song. It's an older song, so it's been around, and if you're Canadian, you've probably heard it so much that you might be sick of it, but it's been a while, so I pulled this song out again the other day. I was listening to it, so yeah. So as you see, I cut all those strips out. And I decided to add a doily for a couple of reasons. I want to tone down that purple in the middle. It is a little much, I have to admit. I do like it, but it is a lot. And also to cut down on the contrast between the strips and the background paper, and just to just calm it down, to give some space for my journaling to live that's not going to compete quite so much with that giant purple splotch in the background, which I really love it. And I'm just going to grab my Liquitex matte medium. I think it's called matte medium. I always forget because Golden calls it something different. I'm going to go check. It is called Liquitex Matte Gel. And I have about 6 bottles of this stuff made by various different brands. I have Claudine Helmuth. I have Golden. I have some weird dollar store brand. I've got like a lot of this. But I enjoy the Liquitex. It's easy to apply. I also really like the Golden. It's basically an adhesive that you can use for decoupaging. You put some underneath and then you paint it over top, and it has a matte finish, so it doesn't make everything all shiny like the gloss finish ones do. You can buy this in gloss and also in matte. And if I were using gloss, then this would all be very shiny at the end, and I don't want it to be shiny. So I just want that doily to be stuck down and not peeling up on the edges. I want it to be sort of incorporated with the overall page. So I just wanted to make that doily look like it belonged on the page. So I just put some splatters over top of it because there are splatters all around it, and I just wanted splatters on it. I have a thing when I'm doing mixed media where I want everything to look incorporated with all the other things on the page. I don't want anything to look like it's on top. And that's just a little quirk of mine that I'll fuss and fuss and fuss with a page and until it seems like everything just is there and nothing stands out as being the last thing that I put on. I talked about that in my last process video, my last art journal process video. So here I am just cutting up more of these strips, and I have to say that this art journal page, really the cutting and the gluing of the lyrics is the biggest part of this, because that background came together so quickly. You guys saw how I basically just had some green rings on there from another project, and then I just splattered some stuff, threw a wash on it, and then splattered some more stuff. And then here I am. I added a doily, and the majority of this page involves cutting lyrics and gluing them down. So I'm cutting them up. And I'm just putting the second chorus. I don't know if it's really a chorus, but anyhow, whatever this thing is called, the little swingy music that goes with this song. There's two versions of it. So the first one, so that's the one that I just read you, but the first one is up at the top on the left, and it says, I read the rules before I broke them. I broke the chains before they choked me out. I paid close attention when I learned the code. I learned to read the map before I hit the road. And then it says, nobody's going to see me coming. Nobody's going to hear a sound. No matter how hard they're trying, no stopping me since I found my inner ninja. And so I had this gap, and I knew I had some purple trim in my drawer. So I went and pulled it out, and whew, I love it. It looks so pretty there. And I have these really old borders from Crate Paper. Remember when Crate Paper used to make border stickers for all of their collections? That's one of those border stickers sheets from one of their collections. Boy, it's been a long time since I've used those. So I'm really happy to be getting things on my pages. My art journaling pages are more scrapbooky than a lot of other art journalers that I used to follow. It's been a while since I've been kind of paying attention to the art journal world. I did take a class with Vilna Furstenberg, a color class last month, and then I just also purchased her art journal starting points, and it's just about doing it's ideas for backgrounds, and so one of them is washes, and I put a wash on this one. So yes, it's a good class. I'd encourage you, if you're interested in art journaling, go ahead and take a class. Vilnas are awesome, of course, because she's just a beautiful artist, and her work is stunning. And you certainly don't have the same style as Vilna. But I think that it's nice to, learn from other artists and pick up little things along the way. I've got something of hers that I want to try out, but I didn't use it on either of these layouts, the Goodwill Hunting or this one. She has this technique where she kind of puts lots of little dashes in color, and it kind of like it brings the color from one part of the layout into another part. It kind of like brings everything together. And, I was just saying a few minutes ago about how I like everything to look like it's together. And I think that technique would really work on my pages. And I really want to, that's one thing that I learned from her classes that I took that I really, really want to incorporate. But I just sort of forgot actually when I was doing this. I just got into my groove and I was just kind of doing it my way. And it wasn't until I was finished that I was like, oh yeah, I forgot to put those dashes anywhere. So anyhow, we'll do it one of these days. I'm using Tombow Mono Multi-Adhesive, which you guys know is my favorite adhesive for scrapbooking. And I use it in mixed media. I use it everywhere. And it's nice and sticky. My fingers got to be a mess from doing this. One thing about that Tombow Mono Multi is that it is super sticky on your fingers, and you can't just use a baby wipe to clean it up. You have to go upstairs and actually clean your hands with soap and water really, really, really well in order to get the sticky mess off of your fingers. So I just kind of embraced the stickiness throughout this because I had sticky on the doily from the matte medium, which I didn't let dry before I started working on gluing these things down. So that's a little sticky. And also I'm getting Tombow Mono Multi because I'm just putting it on such tiny little strips that it is getting on my fingers, but that's okay. A little stickiness never hurt anybody. And I have to say that I really love how these journaling strips look with the feather pattern in the background. It's sort of like a warm gray. I think you call that grayish. It's a warm gray with white feathers. And I really, really love how it just adds that interest and that warmth to the journaling strips, which otherwise would have been pretty boring because there's so many of them on this layout. I mean, the layout is practically all journaling strips. So you have to have something interesting. So yes, my cat is literally walking all over my table, and I was sure that she was going to get her paw in a cup of paint, but she didn't. Thankfully, she didn't track paint all over my house. And she's white too, she's chocolate point, but most of her fur is white. So that would have been a mess if she got into my paint. So I'm just making a little embellishment here. That little flower thing is something that somebody sent me from YouTube several years ago. One of my YouTube viewers sent me a whole bunch of layered homemade embellishments, and I dip into them every once in a while. I really like having pre-made embellishments like that. As I mentioned, my art journal page, oh look, I noticed that I forgot a strip. So, when they say she took a strip off of me, this is what I'm doing. I'm taking a strip off. And then I have to move every strip down. I was suspicious. I should have known when I got to the end and that my inner ninja part was not down low enough. I should have known I had forgotten a strip. But anyhow, I found it and it's all good. So I'm going to put this scrapbooking embellishment. I just found it in with my purple embellishments. I don't get to use purple very often, so I pulled out my little embellishment tub and grabbed that one, and I like how it looks. It's got the similar blues and the purpley pinky color. And I now have a ballpoint pen, a black ballpoint pen. And I don't know who makes this pen, but it's one that somebody sent me. And I'm just doing a really rough doodly outline to increase the contrast between these journaling strips and the background paper, and just to emphasize them and give them a little bit of character, make them my own. Oh, those colors. I would have never thought to put those colors together. Oh, maybe I would have because I did. But I don't know what made me pick that. I don't know what made me pick that magenta. But I just love how it looks against the green and the yellow and the blue. Oh, it's so pretty. And I would not have thought that it would look good. Maybe you guys think it looks hideous. I don't know. It's definitely loud. But I think it's loud in a nice way. I kind of like it. You know how sometimes, especially in the scrapbooking world where, there's so much similarity, every line kind of has similar color schemes and stuff. I think it's nice every once in a while to just have something that's really, really different. And this color combination is definitely different for me. So my pen, it works much better on the doily than it does on the other parts of mixed media. So I'm just going back and forth and trying to get it to look as black as I can. It's in some places it works more and in other places it doesn't. And I find that, I think I just took my Pitt pen, my Faber-Castell Pitt pen, just to go over it a little bit more. And I'm sorry that I forgot to zoom out. I'm just going over the outlining once more, just really, really quickly with my Faber-Castell Pitt pen. And then I took my charcoal pencil and I did a little bit of emphasizing just over here and there, not too much. And this is a piece of, I think it's Whisper White cardstock from Stampin' Up. And I'm going to, at first, I stamped out all the letters to spell out Inner Ninja. But I'm only going to cut out the word ninja. I'm using Stays On ink because I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to be done soon or if I might add more mixed media. So I want to make sure that I don't use any kind of ink that might run if I get any water on it. And Stays On is one of those ones that is, what's that called? Is it called water soluble or not water soluble? Anyhow, it's an alcohol-based ink and it stays put. Yeah, so those are most of the letters for Inner Ninja. I think I need an E and an R. I know, like what? This is the way that my mind spells Inner Ninja. All mixed up. I did the same thing with the letters for Good Will Hunting. I don't know how I wound up with the right letters for that project. Obviously, my mind thinks differently when I'm art journaling than it does when I'm scrapbooking because I do things really differently for both of those processes. Anyhow, I started to cut out to spell inner. And then I very quickly decided, no, I'm going to spell ninja instead of inner and just forget about inner. I'm going to put that word in letter stickers instead. Because I just felt like it would be a little much using these letters. I think these letters are perfect for the word ninja because it looks kind of like it was spray painted or, it just looks ninja-ish. So yeah, I'm just going to do that. It emphasizes the fact that those letters are kind of going with the theme if I only use them for the word ninja instead of also using it for the word inner. So there are my cutout letters. I think they look totally cute and awesome. And I'm just gluing them in the middle so that they will curl up a little bit. I don't put dimensional adhesive or anything on my art journal pages, but I do like things to be curling and just attached in the middle sometimes. And that's what I'm doing with these letters. And then I'm probably going to be gone for a few seconds here while I thumb through my letter stickers looking for some tile letter stickers. I knew I wanted tiles. I knew that I didn't want a shaped letter sticker because I felt like any shaped letter sticker will compete too much with the font that I have going on here with the Ninja. So I very quickly, I grabbed all of my October Afternoon mini market stickers, and I very quickly went with this blue. I like this blue because it's elsewhere on the layout, and it allows Ninja to be the highest contrast thing in the title, and I like that. I'm going to outline those letters, but first I'm going to do a little bit of journaling. Let me read it to you. And I'm using one of my old pens. I think I'm using a Stettler pen for this. It says, "What I love about this song is how it fuses both classified and David Miles's musical styles, but also how it empowers me to be who I am rather than who the world expects me to be." That's it. This layout is not expecting purple, and so I think that's why I really liked the color scheme of this. It sort of goes along with that idea of be who you are, not who the world expects you to be. And be strong and, be a ninja. So here is the close-ups. I think I've got some photos coming for you as well. Oh, before I do that, I will show you how I put this in my journal. It's a bit of a process. It's not the funnest thing to do, to be honest with you, mostly because I'm using a very tiny brush and I should be using a much bigger brush. But I would have had to have cleaned a brush in order to use one of my bigger ones, because I've only got a couple of big ones and they were all really full of paint. So I'm here using this tiny, tiny little brush. And by the time I get my page covered, the stupid matte medium is starting to dry. So anyhow, it's fine. There's no big drama or anything, but it's just, taking a little bit more fussing than what it probably should if I had just done it right and used the right brush, but that's okay. I'm just sticking some matte gel in between my book page and the art journal page, and just trying to make them become one. Squeezing and layering and going over the edges as much as I can, just to make those two pages become one. I'm a little bit faster with the second page. I learned my lesson. And I got like a huge glob of matte gel all over the spiral of my book, so I had to go back and clean it off when I was finished, but it's okay, I got rid of it. And art journals are supposed to be messy, so it's okay. It's all right. It's all right that it's messy. And I did smudge my writing. I think if I had used my Faber-Castell Pitt pen, it would not have smudged when I put the gel medium over it, but I had to switch pens because my Pitt pen was just getting too clogged up, or maybe it's running out. I don't know. I keep a separate one for my art journaling and mixed media work. And so I'm just flipping through. There's only 2 layouts in this album. So it's so funny because I'm used to my art journals being quite full. And I really like both of these layouts quite a lot. Or pages. I keep calling them layouts because I'm a scrapbooker. But gonna do some outlining on this embellishment just to bring it into the layout and make it look like it belongs a little bit more. It was looking too scrapbooky, to be honest. It was I wanted to kind of mess it up a little bit, so I put some sketchy lines all around it. And I'm also outlining this little embellishment that somebody made for me, and again, just with sketchy, messy lines to kind of bring it together with some of the other elements already on the page. And sorry that you can't see it through my hand there. My hand's not invisible. And I'm also going to use the same kind of sketchy outlining technique all around each of these tiles. Sometimes I will outline the tiles all as one, like in one rectangle, and other times I outline the individual letters. And in this case, I'm outlining the individual letters. Just took my charcoal pencil there and added a little bit of shadowing around just behind and under the letter stickers. And then it was looking a little bit too shadowed, so I just took my white gel pen and did a little bit of outlining to compensate for that. And we're done. And this is a whole day's worth of art journaling for me. I did both those pages in one day. So here are the photos. I really like how this one turned out. It almost looks like a heart in the middle. Like, yeah, it's not, but it's more of a rectangle, but it almost looks like a heart when you look at it from afar. Look at those colors together. So rich and beautiful and unusual. I love, love, love them. What a nice accident. I love it when colors come together in unexpected ways, and all the layers just look so pretty. I didn't realize how much fun those Liquitex acrylic inks could be. Baby, I'm having a lot of fun. So thanks so much for watching, and have a really great scrappy week.